Let's talk about how to fix Ireland. Today being Halloween, celebrated in the US and elsewhere, and me wearing a Gaelic football attire, I went to Ireland in 2016. Ireland and England and Ireland and Canada. Nice international tour there. Good times. Great fun. I felt like going home, obviously. Felt like Ohio, but much older. Because I live born and raised in Ohio, for the uninitiated. And Ireland has some issues. And I wanted to honor them today of all days, because when I was there, I went to the Hill of Tara in 2016. And allegedly, this is where the first Halloween celebrations were. Now, if you look at the history of Halloween, where, there were druids and it was All Hallows Eve, and they believed that the spirits would come back, and there were blood sacrifices and all the typical origin stories around the paganism of the first Halloween celebrations 4,000 years ago. This is the history that you'll find. It was all made up in 1634. It was all made up in 1634. So what else is fake? I recently came across an article. We'll talk about how to fix Ireland in a minute. Or are we already? Where it was, in fact, an atheist activist advising other atheists to knock off comparing Christian holidays to their so-called pagan origin stories. Because Easter, Halloween, Christmas, it's unwise to do that because the evidence is sparse and scant. And so what this character was pointing out is that the earliest records of a Halloween celebration come from Christian times. Christian times. And they remark about a simple harvest festival that the locals in Ireland had been celebrating for centuries. Harvest festival. Like an enormous harvest festival. Normal. Okay? We don't see any of the supernatural beliefs and activities and shenanigans and whatnot. And then returning to the first Halloween celebrations, it was All Saints' Eve, All Hallows' Eve. And it was a Christian celebration, followed by All Saints' Day, and then All Souls' Day, more than 1,500 years ago. So the first Halloween is not 4,000 years ago, 1,500 years ago, and it was an explicitly Christian, or really Catholic, holiday, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Comes after the time of St. Patrick, who has a statue there at the Hill of Tara, by the way. So a few of his fingers are missing. It's strange. I don't know what that's about. So I have an affinity for Ireland. I think my 23andMe says that I am related to something like 67% of the native population of Dublin. When I was there walking around, it was like a giant family reunion. Everyone I see looks like me, the young people, near the Trinity College. It was bizarre. It's bizarre. I'm looking around and it's like brothers. Truly. I got the Eastern European profile, though, and height. So, good times. All right, what's going on in Ireland? So, if you have followed Conor McGregor, who has been sharing about the shenanigans related to migrant crime, particularly being committed by young male Muslims, and the, let's say, outproducing or out-reproducing of implants versus the locals, it's not good. And if you bring this up, you're denounced as racist. And if you try to talk about the severe issues related to sexual assault and crime, you have to use the sandwich method, where you have the two pieces of bread. I am not racist whatsoever. I believe everybody is equal. I am not all racist. Understand this. But we're having some problems here right now. We're having some problems here right now. And after that, you say your piece. And I want to say, I am not at all racist. I love immigrants. We need more immigrants for every country. I mean, we just need to have an immigration direct flight system set up from Haiti and from Algeria and from Pakistan. Just keep them coming. This is how it is usually described. Not great. Not great. If you can't tell the truth, what have you got? There's a piece from the Irish Post I saw about Mary Ward. This is in the occupied territory of Northern Ireland. And it is considered appalling. And there is a scolding response. SDLP leader Claire Hanna has called for an urgent response to the femicide crisis in Ireland. These are damning statistics relating to attacks against women and girls in the North. Violence against women and girls demands an immediate and deep response. Femicide rate twice as high as Britain. We need to think very deeply about the society and culture that's manifesting in this way. She's so close to the truth. She's so close to the truth. You already know what it is. Over the past 8 years, 42 females have been killed in the North. Between, this is hard, 23 months old and 83 years old. That's tough. This is an issue that demands a cross-governmental response with discussion and behavioral change and in all parts of society urgently. You know what's not in this article? You know what's not in this article. I copied and pasted 22-year-old Mary Ward, found dead in her Belfast home. 31-year-old man, Ahmed Abdirahman, charged with the murder of Mary Ward. Neck wounds. Cross-governmental response. Behavioral change and in all parts of society. We need to think very deeply about the society and culture that is manifesting in this way. I don't blame the countries from which these people come, by the way. The reason I don't blame them, imagine you are President X. In your country, there is a problem with assaults, violence, shenanigans, crime, thuggery. You don't like it. So what do? You let it be known in your country that there are other countries that will accept your, we'll say, underclass, to be gentle. They'll accept your underclass in large numbers. Will you allow them or empower them to otherwise get the heck out of your country? Yeah. It's cheaper than imprisoning them. It's cheaper than policing, especially if you don't have the budget. Just get them out. Send them somewhere else. Let them be somebody else's problem who's willing to accept them. So we notice the scolding response of this leader, Claire Hanna, Claire, of course, being a woman, and engaging in a scolding response, a finger wagging, blaming everyone but the perpetrator. Think about that. It's society, culture, not at all blaming the victim. Perpetrator, rather. The victim's perpetrator. That's not happening. I bet if I search the other names of victims, I will find similar. So this is one story, it's one anecdote, but it's the entire story and all the anecdotes, or at least a number of them. That's got to stop. What's needed is people in positions of power to say no. We're not going to scold each other for the crimes of aliens. We're not going to do it. Oh, but his one of his parents was, born in London. So, okay, shut up. Shut up. You can't solve the problem if you can't speak truthfully about it. They need some truth. Another story. A restaurant that I went to called Blazing Saddles. Remember that Georgia Street Arcade? After 37 years, they've closed. Inflation, thanks to money printing in the U.S., because there's a number of U.S. tourists or people who are using the dollar as their original currency before they switch over to the euro before coming to Ireland or in Ireland. And then the rise in the value added tax or the VAT in the European Union from, was it 9% to 13%? That's bad. That's absurd. What are the Irish people getting out of a value added tax? Well, in the last year, they lost 600 restaurants. The idea of taxes is that they benefit the taxpayers. Everyone pitches into the pool and everyone benefits. Who's in that pool of taxpayers? That's not what's happening, is it? It's not what's happening. Not even close. So who is it benefiting? Well, it's benefiting the European Union overlords. That's who it's benefiting. Another story is the Occupied Territories Bill. Have you heard of this? Ireland wants to restrict trade with Palestinian territories. Ireland's government is seeking to introduce a bill restricting trade with the Palestinian territories after it said a United Nations court decision freed the Republic to make trade decisions independently of the European Union. So, Ireland wants to make a decision for Ireland. They have to go through the European Union, unelected bureaucrats, the European Union Supreme, or actually, no, it's not the European Union, I'm sorry, United Nations. We're going to talk about EU in a second. United Nations allowed them independently of the European Union. The Occupied Territories Bill received broad support in Ireland's parliament. But the government of Ireland, the elected government of Ireland, the democratically elected Republic of Ireland, could not bring this bill forwards because the European Union, not member states, is responsible for all members' trade policy. It's okay to be mad about this. The question is, what are we going to do about it? Now, the context of this bill from Ireland, the EU, UN, is Ireland has decided to officially recognize Palestine as a state, which anchored Israel. They decided to establish diplomatic relations with the Palestinian people. You might disagree with that. I might disagree with that. Who cares? It's what Ireland's elected government wants. Do we believe in self-determination or not? It is known that terrorists run the Palestinian government, Hamas, shenanigans with Hezbollah and the ties there. But what's important here? This is not a story about Palestine. It's about sovereignty of Ireland. A lot of people think that Palestine and Ireland, they're basically siblings because of power and colonizing and blah, 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 blah. Okay, whatever. That's not what this is about. This is about unelected bureaucrats allowing a government of the people, by the, for the people, so on and so forth. Lincoln. Okay, you know the quote. That's not good. It doesn't sit well with me. They're not able to decide for themselves. The elected leaders can't decide for themselves. Bureaucrats do. Neither the elected leaders or the bureaucrats feel comfortable telling the truth about what's really going on in the country. And the people are paying taxes that do not benefit them and result in 600 closures of restaurants, including those that have been around for 40 years. How to fix Ireland, indeed. leave the European Union, tell the truth or demand the truth be told about immigration and crime, opt out of the value-added tax. Make Ireland great again.